Hello everyone, how's it going? My name is Dewi and this is my brother.
Oh!
And today we're here to talk about Sonic 3, which was released yesterday.
And we've seen it today.
Yes, so this is our review on it now. So we literally saw it about 5-6 hours ago. So this is your chance now to leave before we get into any spoilers.
3, 2, 1, pandas.
Right, Sonic 3. So do you want to talk about what we got when we were just there?
So the cinema that we went to actually was selling some merch of it. So here actually looks like, this is what it looks like. So obviously they were selling quite a few of these cups with the figures on top here with Sonic.
Yeah.
That you can move to different stands. And obviously there's a little thing to stop any drinks from leaking out.
Yeah, and they do have other versions of this. Unfortunately, the one I wanted, Shadow, wasn't there. Because when we did sat down, you had like 20 minutes of commercials. They did show, actually, that there were a Knuckles version, a Sonic version, the Tails version, and a Shadow version. Knuckles and Shadow already sold out, so I was kind of sad about it.
Though you did consider getting the
the popcorn bucket. Yeah, but I mean, we got something away from it, that's still cool.
Yeah. And then obviously getting into the actual film, the opening with Shadow.
Yes. Keanu Reeves' Shadow was absolutely amazing. That intro where he really shows off like his power by beating all the guards up, really shows you like how strong he is. And, he's been locked up for 50 years,
Which technically makes him 50 years old.
Yeah, well, I don't know how old he was before he got the asteroid and all that business.
I'm going to assume he was about the same age as Sonic, maybe like a bit older.
But who knows? Anyways, he's been frozen in the prison for 50 years in Tokyo.
Yes. And now he's got out.
Yes, because he was in prison by Gun, wasn't it? The company.
Yes. Well, so the military.
Yeah, military company. Yeah. So where Shadow's story is like really dark, you see Sonic's side with his family.
Yeah, when he's having the race with Knuckles and Tails.
Yes, and they celebrate his Earth Day.
Yeah, celebrating when he first came to Earth.
Yes, I met everyone.
Yeah, and then obviously like they're having marshmallows and stuff.
Yeah. Knuckles was funny, isn't he? Especially when he's like, I have dishonored my marshmallow.
That was really funny, actually.
Yeah.
And then obviously Gun come into...
so the actress actually for like the officer was actually the same actress who played as Jessica Jones, because there was a rumour that she was going to play as like Rouge the Bat.
Yeah, but in the end she ended up playing like a gun officer.
Yes,
she did. Apparently the gun officer in this film plays the same role as Rouge does in the actual stuff, so...
That's actually very interesting. I don't know how that, I didn't know if it was going to be...
Apparently Rouge is a gun agent.
Yes, I think I remember that.
Well, I certainly
didn't. A little bit. I don't know. There's something there that kind of sounds a bit familiar, but I don't know if it's a little nod towards that. I'm not too sure.
Anywho.
Yes, so we get straight into it. They don't mess about with like the whole interaction with Shadow and Sonic and
yeah, and actually they jump out of the helicopter to get there. And I originally thought that because in the game they base this off of Sonic Adventure 2, they recreate a lot of moments from that game into the film. And I thought, because at the beginning of the game, Sonic jumps over a helicopter and uses like a hoverboard thing to go down the streets. So I thought they were going to do that, but in Tokyo instead of like New York or whatever. But they didn't, which was a bit of a shame, but it's fine.
Meet Shadow, really cool, and he says, you're a colourful bunch. And showing off his power level by, easily beating Knuckles, which I did think to myself, though, in that fight, that, Knuckles went down really quick. But as you pointed out, saying he wasn't really prepared for Shadow.
Yeah, he wouldn't have really been prepared to know how powerful Shadow was with his teleportation and all that. And plus, the way that he beats up Knuckles, that's not even his full power. Because the rings on Shadow, on his feet and on his hands, are actually like restraints that weigh a couple thousand pounds.
Yeah, that's why he took him off the end, but we'll get to that in a bit. But it's just because, Knuckles, as he said, it's like 1,000,000 times pure muscle and stuff like that. So it's just this powerhouse that Knuckles is to be taken just by that little cramp attack on his fist. It just seemed like maybe that was a bit too quick, even for Knuckles. But as you said, though, maybe he just wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah.
And you could say that Knuckles is stronger. It's just he wasn't expecting him.
And then when Shadow took the motorbike
That
and the
was
gun,
cool.
that
And the
was
gun
cool.
said, "Don't follow me." And then he powerhouses the motorbike to his
and
chaos
goes up,
speed.
And goes up the skyscraper with it, and then
really good.
clashes with Sonic in the middle in the air. That caused like a citywide blackout.
Yes.
Which I thought was a really cool moment.
Yeah.
And then obviously you had like the Chow garden, and Chow's like the animals that are in the Sonic.
Oh yeah, the
Sonic
aftermath.
Adventure 2.
So once they're all like licking their wounds, talking about it,
and then
they meet up with the general, don't they?
Yeah, and the general tells them about that Shadow was actually an alien that crashed in a meteorite and became a part of a tragic accident.
Yeah, because as you're going through the film, you're sort of having like these flashbacks for telling a Shadow's story and how he came to be here on Earth.
Yeah.
And you hear from his side of things, as you say, it was an asteroid that crash landed.
And actually, apparently the asteroid he crashed in the film is very similar to the one that, in the Shadow game, passes Earth and is the home for the person who made Shadow when he was, like, an actual alien. So, like, I guess Shadow's father lived in that asteroid in the game. So...
That's interesting.
It's kind of like how in Marvel Spider-Man 2 you had the swirly things for Null.
Okay.
Which actually, I guess that guy would technically be the Sonic version of, like, a big bad or whatever.
I mean, I'm not too sure about that side
I'm not quite too sure either, because that muddies Shadow's whole backstory. Which is good, because that complicates it a lot, and this film really kind of boiled it down to the simplest parts.
Yeah. Interesting.
Made it a lot more make sense.
What I did like is like you had Jim Carrey playing two roles in this, which I thought was quite interesting.
Yes, as Eggman and Gerald Robotnik.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job. You have quite a lot of funny bits with him, when they first meet, trying to convince him that, he's his grandfather.
Yeah.
The laser dance bit, that was quite funny.
I mean, I personally think that Gerald Robotnik should have been a lot more serious in this film, because he's a lot more serious in the game for the time that you do see him before he gets killed.
There are some dark scenes with him, though, because, like, you have those flashback scenes, and, ever since... I mean, in fact, this whole, like, sort of film is sort of based on, like, how dark, like, he's like, taking it personally because after Maria's death, and he wants revenge on the world, because this is where, later on, you find out that the two Robotniks come either side, because whereas Eggman wants to rule over
the world,
everything, Gerald Robotnik wants to destroy the world, include everyone completely. And that's what him and Shadow's sort of connection is, because Shadow just wants revenge, because he blames the whole world for what happened to Maria, as opposed to just Gunn at all. So, carrying on the story from where, the guy on the bike who was Agent Stone.
Yeah, and I honestly thought that would have been the actress that played...
Jessica Jones.
Yeah, Jessica Jones. I thought that would have been her, because it didn't seem like anyone else. It was too tall to be Shadow, and, well, Eggman surely couldn't do it, and neither could Agent Stone, but it turned out he could, so...
Yeah, I thought it might have been
something.
Agent Stone's, because he was the other one sort of missing from this loop that I hadn't seen yet. And, it quickly transformed into, they find Eggman, realise that they need 2 keys for the super weapon.
And actually, Eggman is now gone into his full transformation.
Yeah, so first phase, it was, they teased at the very end, we're into second film, that he had the stash and the bald head. And now in this one, he's, quite big.
And has his, like, full-on suit.
Yes, at the very end, the pipes and, like, the neck sort of red bracelet he has at the end. Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and obviously they need 2 keys to activate the weapon that Gerald Robotnik made in exchange for his freedom.
Yeah, because Sonic does go to him for help originally. However, obviously that quickly turns when his own grandfather convinces him, to join the me. We have the same interest. Doesn't tell him the whole truth, but it tells him enough to entice him to, rule everything.
Yeah.
And then realise, there's another, Shadow the Hedgehog out there, I mean, I'd team up with Shadow. That'd be really cool. So, you have that partnership. They look after they try and get the second key, because they obviously get the first one from
Gunn
Sonic.
headquarters in London.
In London.
And, like, it was really I guess you could say, I found the dance scene in the gun headquarters quite weird, honestly. I know you found it quite funny.
I thought it was humorous because I mean that just like literally just spoke Jim Carrey vibes, like how weird it all sort of was.
Me watching that, knowing that, because earlier Gerald Robotnik said he was 101, which he probably survived that long because like the shadow quill that he licks. Yeah. But while he was doing things like dancing and stuff, I was just like, oh my god, so many bones are breaking in that old man's body right now. I can understand Eggman, because he's on, like, I guess you could say the younger side of the two. Yeah. But Gerald Robotnik, it's like, especially that part of the end where he's like, push the button, and then it's like, oh god, his back's gone there.
Well, he probably fixed his back when he pushed him into the lasers. But no, that was a bit of a funny scene, to be fair.
Yeah.
You also had the Donut Lord Tom and his missus
getting
transformed of the cameos from
yeah.
Remember her sister from the first and
second
one?
And then the husband that was actually a gun agent.
Yeah, that was it. And they make their appearance in this because they sort of transform with Tails' technology to transform them into different people.
Yeah. And then the whole part when Tom actually gets wounded by Shadow and almost dies.
Because he transforms into the general that actually ruined sort of parties ruined Shadow's like before, and Shadow confuses him for
that
him.
That led the whole thing to go kill Maria and all that.
That was that click moment for Sonic, like, you know, oh my god, now it's like...
Yeah, because throughout the film he kind of been drifting away from the team because he doesn't know how to, be a team player.
Yeah, because they sort of compare each other, but Shadow's a lot darker, you know, Sonic's a lot more happier and with the family and stuff. But he's getting more and more closer, becoming like a Shadow in terms of personality, especially at this moment when Tom is hurt.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's about to die. Obviously, he doesn't die, which I didn't think he would die.
No, but he was really wounded. And at that time, you're supposed to believe that, you know, he's dead. And the thing is that it's all clashes to a point where, you know, he's being reckless and wants to use the Chaos Emerald to actually beat them. So, you know, he even goes against Knuckles. He goes against his team, the team that, you know, he wanted to be a part of. And now, you know, he's
Team Sonic.
Team Sonic. And you know it's bad when Knuckles becomes, like, the voice of reason.
Yeah,
and
the sane one.
Yeah, and he doesn't fight Sonic. And, you know, he says, I will tell you, despite, you know, you being reckless. And he gives it... what you find out is that he gave the gem...
Yeah, the Master Emerald to Wade.
Wade.
I think is his name.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, fair. I guess it's a good hiding spot. Hide it in plain sight. You'd have to be a real idiot to think that it would hide in, like, there. But the fact that he's playing, like, hockey with it is like... This is a gem that can literally destroy entire races, and you use it to play hockey.
Yeah. And if you're just some average person going along, you just see a massive green emerald, like, ooh, eBay, just, you know, sell it off somewhere for millions, God knows. But no, I thought it was a bit interesting giving it to him. But, you know, he does trust him in terms of, like, a good person, I guess. So, obviously, Sonic just takes it off him, you know, goes supersonic and then goes straight into space with the weapon.
The Arc, I'm pretty sure it's called. And it's actually designed after Gerald Robotnik's face.
Yeah, because it has, like, the 3 mustache, like,
things and the eyes.
Yeah. So that was really cool. So he goes straight into space where... both the Eggmans are there. They see him come in, and then, you know, he breaks through the glass and goes straight for Shadow.
And then obviously they both go supersonic with the...
Yes, because Shadow gives him a bit of back talk, like, no, you know how it feels that I felt with this pain for 50 years, and it's like, oh gosh, like a real blow, you know, like sort of comparing Sonic.
I do think they did actually do the whole fleshing out his backstory with Maria and that relationship. I think given the amount of time they had in this film, they actually did flesh that relationship out very well, honestly. And, I mean, obviously they didn't have Maria get shot. Instead, they had it be some explosion from a rogue gunshot.
Yeah, but it was the fact that she died because of those events. Shadow doesn't care how it happened. It happened at the end of the day. And that's what matters, is that she was taken away from him.
By God, and now he wants... Him and Gerald Robotnik want revenge.
Yeah.
And obviously when they both become supersonic, I really, really like the part in the film where in their fight, every time they punched each other, they went to a different part of the globe. So they were in Italy, then they were in Greece, then they were in Egypt, Spain, and you could see...
It's like some Dragon Ball Z moment, honestly, the way they just find out that, like,
and then when you see it from space, from the Ark point of view, you can just see on this entire...
Like a ping pong thing all around the world,
And it's like really cool, especially since you can actually hear it, so it's like they're breaking the sound.
Shadow, though, where he sort of like Gorgains really digs deep into Sonic and says, you know, what was his name? Tom, and then he uppercuts him.
Yeah, straight to the moon.
And it's like, wow, and he takes the power from Shadow, and it's like, finish it, and he's like really trying to entice Sonic, finish it, because he feels like he's got nothing to live for. He lost the closest person to him 50 years ago, and so to him, it's all gonna end anyway. So make Sonic, I guess, like him, like he's been this entire time really dark. And then in that moment, it's like Sonic being pulled back from the brink by realizing that, you know, as he said, revenge, no one wins.
Yeah, because you lose yourself and then you lose the person that you're... and then obviously that made Shadow realise that it's not what Maria would have wanted, and that he has to team up with Sonic, and they both become Supersonic and fly up to the Ark to try and take down Gerald Robotnik.
All those robots, yeah.
And that's when the actual main theme of Sonic Adventure 2, which again is the game that this movie is based off of, and that theme kicks in, and they even, like, I think at the end of the fight, reenact like a very iconic pose they do where they're both flying past each other.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that shot.
And that's probably like the most famous part they do in the games.
Yeah.
And that was really cool.
I love the colour design they give. I mean, we saw Sonic was yellow, golden colour, but Shadow had like his own type of colour.
It was like a more whitish gold.
Whitish gold / a little bit pinkish, well, to give off like the reddish vibe he still got coming off, like, you know, the end tails and stuff. Which is
and then
really
obviously
cool.
you had the fight with the two Eggman.
Yes, because it's at this point now that it's revealed that this is where their difference of ruling over things. Eggman wants to rule over things. Gerald wants to destroy everything for revenge. And this is the brutal point where he says, you know, you've lost everything with Maria and he has no family. And it's like, you know, they're evil, but Eggman, you know, finally having a grandfather.
Eggman
have some kind of sibling. You'd think it would be reciprocated, but it's not. And what's brutal is when he says the words that the human race is a failed experiment.
And when Eggman's like, but you're like my grandpappy. Like, I thought you loved me, and he just like looks up and down. Gerald Robotnik looks up and down at him, and it's like, oh, you're no Maria, and then just walks away like that. It's like, oof.
Yeah, that's
so good though.
Yeah,
for a villain to say.
Just disregard it. I mean, it's family at the end of the day. You
know? And then obviously you have that like really kind of wacky fight. Where those two...
so Gerald goes Scorpion mode from, like, Spider-Man. No, not really, but, you know, he does have, like, the scorpion tail and and stuff, and Eggman has the pincers and stuff, and you have that little interesting fight scene. And, you know, Gerald's about to kill Eggman.
Yeah, he throws him down, like,
the chute, being sucked out of the ship. And then Tails and Knuckles shows up.
To save Eggman, and then he uses Sonic's, obviously, supersonic quill to electrocute Gerald Robotnik and send him flying into all like the swirling chaos energy that obviously evaporates him.
Yeah.
And then that's Gerald Robotnik out of the picture.
But I mean, in his own eyes, he was going to die because, as he said, he wanted everything to be destroyed.
A far less brutal way than how he died in the games.
Yes.
But...
It's at this moment now, though, everyone's goals are sort of aligned because it's like, right now we need to save everything.
Obviously, the Ark blasts, you know, the massive blast toward the Earth.
Yeah.
And Shadow and Sonic kind of, like, deflect the blast. Sonic runs out of his chaos energy and falls.
Yeah, but they deflected it enough where it's away from the planet, but it hits the moon.
Yeah, because what they do is that Eggman moves the Ark just as Shadow's trying to keep it from hitting the Earth. And then obviously it hits the moon and it cuts off a good chunk of it. Which
hinted out like an Eggman moon base. I don't know, which
actually
it was like cutting off the other bit and making like an Eggman base.
It cut off a little bit of it, but it's not as much as in the game where they full on just like cut it in half.
Could be hinting at something now. I don't know.
Anyway, so disregarding the fact that might throw off Earth's gravitational pull on oceans or whatever, obviously Shadow uses supersonic stuff to push the ark away because it's gonna blow up and, you know, poison the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And then obviously it blows up. Eggman assumingly dies.
Yes.
Along with it.
But that's happened in like the, you know, the first.
Yeah, I feel like what they'll do from now on is that they'll kill him off, but leave it vague enough to the point where if Jim Carrey wants to return, they can say, "Oh, he survived."
He's really good, though. I would love him to return.
Yeah.
To be honest.
But yeah, and then obviously we find out Tom's still alive.
Yes.
And
Knuckles, you know, and Tails, you know, he saves them both, and Sonic, you know, towards the end with the rings. Obviously Gerald's dead. Eggman sort of passing.
Dead, maybe.
Did give a nice little speech to Agent
Shadow's
Stone.
Dead as well.
Did give a nice little speech to Agent Stone. Though.
Oh yeah, just before he goes out.
Which I thought was nice because he's been there through thick and thin always, you know, and there's the whole latte thing. I love the way you make them, and yeah, and so the the whole space station blows. And you know, it's that reference actually where the rings come off Shadow. That sort of like keep his power contained.
All his
power then to shift this thing before it blows up, which is like amazing. You see the skybox, which is really cool. And then
how are the government gonna cover this up all now though?
It wasn't, because I mean, if you think about it, it was even said that Gun's like thing was hijacked. Remember? In space, he was on the TV and stuff to all the people in the world.
Right.
And he even showed the two Robotniks on the TV.
Oh, right. I honestly didn't actually click that.
So that was...
I was just thinking of the whole Shadow thing and the moon being cut in half. How would they cover all that up?
Oh, well, they're not really going to cover that up. That's just going to be something that gets explained, I guess, in the future.
Anywho, so then obviously the film ends with Tails, Knuckles and Sonic having their, like, race. Again, redoing all that. And then that's where the film ends.
Normally ends, yes.
Yes.
But there is a post and an end credit scene.
So the post-credit scene, obviously, Sonic runs, it's nighttime, and he's in New York now because he apparently overshot it.
Yeah.
And then Metal Sonic shows up. And then there's an army of Metal Sonics as well that all try to jump.
What do you think about the design? Do you think it kept true with
the
original?
The Metal Sonic design was fantastic. It's exactly what I would have wanted him to look like. And then obviously Amy Rose comes in.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that hammer, I was like, oh,
yeah. And the worst part about it is that I was spoiled just yesterday on it. Same with the whole Supersonic and Shadow thing. Even though I knew the Supersonic and Shadow thing would happen.
Well, yeah, I think we took a guess at that you know, it's probably going to happen. Because how would you beat how would you beat the last film where Sonic goes supersonic or Shadow goes supersonic? So, no, that was really cool.
So
I'd seen Amy. I think they did them both, Justice, Metal Sonic and Amy. The events of this
design, we don't know how they're actually going to do them.
We didn't actually hear Amy Rose speak, but then again, I probably set up some kind of voice actress for her later on. Obviously, that's not to say we don't know when that film could be another 2 years away. Yeah, because that seems the rotation they're going with now.
And then the end credit scene is of Shadow.
Yeah, you don't see him fully, but you see the rings and you have his theme playing, and you
see his shoes.
It's Shadow. Yeah.
I mean, he could be on a completely different planet now. We don't know. But I feel like that will probably set up for Shadow to get his own spin-off film or TV show. Because I think how it's going to work is that they'll introduce a new character in one film and then give them a spin-off show. So they did it with Sonic 2 and Knuckles. Now they're doing it with Sonic 3 and Shadow. So they might do it with Sonic 4 and Amy.
Yes.
At least that's how I think they're
going to have a bit of story ready for you for when you go inside the fourth film.
Yeah, because it seems like the general consensus seems to be that Sonic has now gone into the future, where, you know, like these Metal Sonics rule.
That's what I'm thinking, because if, let's say, you know, Eggman is gone, then let's say, you know, the Metal Sonic, who would he be created by?
Maybe Gun as a way of, like...
Yeah.
As, like, a new... Because they know that all their defences are absolutely suck after Shadow, and so they try to make like their own army of Sonics, but then obviously
then how
they go rogue.
Amy Rose face into it? Because she quite clearly she knows how to battle them.
But then that's what I don't understand. How would she get there?
That's what I mean. So this is either some kind of multiversal thing, or this is some kind of future thing where maybe the explosion didn't destroy. Well, it may have like evaporated like Eggman into the future. He created them, but instead it's like a Terminator thing, destroy Sonic in the past with the inventions of the future. I don't know. That's a guess. You know, that's just me looking at it first perspective, thinking to myself, well, he's just finished off the race with Knuckles at the Tails at just the very end of the third film. So how in the hell has he managed to make not one, but like an army of Metal Sonics in a short amount of time?
As in like a few minutes.
And Amy Rose coming in.
Yeah.
So, and this, by the way, is like him racing Knuckles and Tails at the very end of Sonic 3.
And by the time the race ends, it's like in the middle of the night.
So all this happened somehow in the, let's say
like
days.
A few minutes.
Yeah, or day. Well, minutes minutes inside the film, but days, I guess, in terms of, because Tom's just got out of the hospital from, you know, his recovery, which let's say maybe a week at best, but. I'm sorry, a week to make an army of Metal Sharks and Amy Rose coming? I don't know. This is going to be a bit more of a time.
Yeah, it seems like that's the consensus, that Sonic ran so fast he ran into the future.
Yeah, so that's...
By accident, of course.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah, that'd be interesting. So, there's a lot to ponder over, but all in all, I really enjoyed the film.
Yeah, it was really good, I think. Knuckles was very funny, especially when Sonic tried explaining the break glass in case of emergency, and he's like, I will shatter the glass, I will pummel it until there's nothing left.
You know, he's he's an honourable warrior, but, you know, he's not like a Drax in a way, in Marvel, if you think about it, in that sort of sense. But, no, I really like Knuckles. I love his voice actor, Idris Elba, as well. He does a really good job.
I do hope, though, that Tails does get a bit more of a bigger role in the fourth film, because I feel like, yeah, he had a big role in the second one, but I feel like in this one, Tails could have just not been in it.
Tails, we were talking about Tails. He could have had a bit more of like
things to do.
Tails could have his own spin-off thing, a little gadget man. Yeah, he could do off, you know, racing. He likes his gadgets.
In the game that they base this off of, Tails has a whole arc of like becoming his own person away from Sonic and his own hero. So
yeah, I'd like to see that little spin-off shows that give setups ready for films later on. You have a bit of story in between that tide you over. No, I'd like that. But, you know, I like Tails in this as well, and Knuckles and Sonic. Basically,
and I think we can both agree, Shadow was the standout part. With
I love the
Reeves.
intro. That just, like, set the tone.
Yeah, that was just amazing.
How powerful. Yeah, no, fantastic. Keanu Reeves was absolutely awesome in that regard. They were all awesome, to be honest.
All of them.
They were fantastic. And if I were to compare this to other films, I'm not saying the other films were bad. I'm just saying this was my favourite out of the three.
Mine too. So, what are we giving this a score of?
I'm giving this a 10 because I just loved everything.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 10 as well.
The tone, how dark it was, which is really good. The new characters, Keanu Reeves as Shadow and Jim Carrey playing two Eggmans, and the setups ready for Metal Sonic and Amy Rose in the future. So, and the whole like Super Sonic, Super Shadow at the end, gotta love that. And how they've really ramped it up between Eggman just going after Sonic, the second one, the massive egg robot, and now a world-ending machine that can destroy everything. So the tone just keeps ramping up and up. So, no, I'm excited to see what comes next. What would you rate it?
I would also rate it a 10, as I've just said.
Oh, sorry, I'm just getting so overwhelmed. But no, that is going to be it for our review. But if you do, when you do, guys, do watch it, you know, let us know what you think.
Or if you already have, then
feel free to let us know in the comments, and we will try and get back to you as soon as we can.
So, with that being said, I have been Owain on the Thomas Bros channel, and this is my brother.
There we.
And we will catch you all in the next video. Ta-da!
Bye-bye.